Now, foreign criminals who avoided deportation committed 10,000 offences in a single year. Now, this comes as the Ministry of Justice revealed that a quarter of foreign criminals reoffend after being released from British jails. And one of the most prolific migrants is Ernesto Elliott. On your screens now, he murdered a 35-year-old man in a knife fight after being released from prison. Foreign offenders were responsible for around 40,000 crimes over these past 4 years. And joining me now to discuss this is the Executive Director at Migration Watch, Mike Jones. Mike, always a pleasure to have your company. So 10,000 foreign criminals languish in British jails. If you're Albanian, you're 14 times more likely to be in a British nick than if you're British. If you're Kosovan, if you're Vietnamese, 9 times more likely to be in a British nick. Jamaican, 7.5 times more likely to be in a British nick. And yet none of these people are deported. Why not?
Well, for two reasons. For starters, we don't have proper exit-entry controls linked to biometric data. You know, the EU is already rolling out such a system, and there's no reason why the UK can't do the same, but there aren't any plans to do so. Secondly, we have huge legal roadblocks to deporting people, specifically the Human Rights Act. That's the root cause of this. The Human Rights Act enshrines the European Convention of Human Rights into British law, and that makes it very difficult to deport illegal immigrants, including foreign national offenders, particularly if they have family in the UK or if they originate from an unsafe country.
And Ernesto Elliott, let's get his picture back on the screen, that individual I mentioned there. He was actually on a flight. He was on a flight due to be deported back to Jamaica, and that flight was prevented from being taken off from Britain, and a letter was signed by parliamentarians, including Labour Party MPs, to ground that flight. He went on to murder. And time again, we hear situations, do we not, Mike Jones, of the lawyers stepping in to protect the human rights of these people, and we do not have the human rights of Brits protected. And one thing I keep talking about is why can't we get data on the crimes committed by foreign nationals so we know who knows, we need to know who is doing what, which nationalities are the most dangerous. We have this in Denmark, we have it in Germany, we have it in the Netherlands. What are they so afraid of here?
They're afraid of losing control of the narrative. I mean, Angela Eagle did hint in Parliament that she would release this, although whether she does or not remains to be seen. I mean, we know from data in Sweden, the Scandinavian countries, and a lot of this is academic data, you know, it's published in peer-reviewed journals. We know that, you know, refugees commit a disproportionate amount of crime, you know, whether that's larceny, sexual offences, gang-related crime, and, you know, data is important. Sunlight is the best disinfectant, and we need to know these average statistical tendencies. You know, it should inform domestic policy, but I don't think politicians can continue with this wall of silence. They need to publish the data.
And it was Rupert Lowe, of course, the Reform Party MP for Great Yarmouth, who got this data out during a parliamentary essential question. But it has to be forced out of them like blood out of a stone, Mike Jones. And time again, yourself, myself, I asked the Department of Work and Pensions, for example, that the data we have in Germany shows that 63%, in fact, I've got a former German MEP out there now about to come in, 63% of people claiming unemployment benefits in Germany are foreign origin. That means they're either born abroad or their children are the second generation. And we don't get that data. They seem to be terrified of giving it to us.
Yeah, precisely. But there is a drip of data coming out into the media. You know, the Ministry of Justice, they've shown that, you know, 3,000 foreign national offenders released from British prisons went on to commit, as you said, 10,000 more crimes. You know, that's 3 crimes per person on average. Worse still, that's a 25% jump from last year. Now, I'm not easily shocked by stats, but even I was floored by what the MOJ revealed. Some of these criminals have sneaked back into the country without detection, while others were never deported in the first place, all thanks to the bonkers legal system we're stuck with in this country.
Yeah, it's got to change, and we have to keep shining a light on it. Thank you very much. That's the Executive Director at Migration Watch, Mike Jones. Thank you very much for joining us on the show.